Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Okay, I'm here with just one goal in mind. To prove to all of you that Wingdings Gaster, the royal scientist, is green. And that this color is very important to understand major themes in Undertale and Deltarune. So, without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, but where does all of this come from? As we all know, Gaster is black and white. Now, the Goner's NPCs are copies of already existing characters in the game, and we don't need to use the photocopier theory. If we note that Gaster was the previous royal scientist, that means he should have looked normal before, because this is a copied or malformed aspect of him. And if we go by Gaster being a skeleton, given his connection to Sans and Papyrus, are we really sure that his outfit was completely black and white? All Goners look slightly deformed. Gaster, by pure logic, should be also deformed too. So let's start with the evidence, or the fandom's dementia. In Sans and Papyrus' house, Sans' room is on the right and Papyrus' room is on the left. It would seem that there is a space between them, where you could fit another room. So that's where Gaster's room fit, right? No? Okay, let's continue. In the waterfall hallway, where the Gaster door appears, it acts as a transition between one place and another, the Snowdin and waterfall, like a door that's in between something. Something like the space on the skeleton's house. But something's missing here, and it's precisely that missing thing that gave rise to this whole theory. There's a color missing in the middle, and that color is green, because Papyrus and Sans always follow that order. If we go by digital color coding, that color is supposed to be green, since Papyrus would be red and Sans would be blue. And there's a color missing in the middle. That missing color matches with the position that Gaster should take. Get it? No? It's not enough? Let's continue. As we enter Snowdin, we can see two snowmen made by Sans and Papyrus, one on the left and one on the right. And there's an empty space in between, where another snowman is missing. And speaking of which, the snowman's room has a very similar layout to the mystery man's room, and the snowman's last request is that we take a part of him to see the rest of the world. We get nothing from this, but it's a gesture of good faith from Frisk. Now, what was the thing the Goner on Hotland was saying? He was holding a piece of Gaster, the one who was fragmented after falling into his creation. Just as he holds a piece of Gaster, we can also hold a piece of the snowman. If we do the genocide route, we're able to destroy the snowman, leaving only traces of him. Traces. Battle interfaces in Undertale are white. Some bosses and the occasional enemy has a special attack of a single color. Colors we're usually familiar with, orange for move and light blue for don't move. But why is it that during the battle against Sans, when he summons his attacks that we know are related to Gaster, his eye turns blue and yellow? But why use both colors? It's a unique attack. Besides, we know that blue doesn't do whatever Sans' attacks does. It's like he was trying to manifest something, but the universe doesn't want it, so it breaks the color into its two components, blue and yellow. But wait, what do we get when we mix blue and yellow? The color manifested by Gaster. Gaster, the one who never existed, just as his true color cannot be manifested on Undertale. And by doing the genocide route, we're totally destroying Gaster's plan, since there is no more underground for Gaster to make his Deltarune. And speaking of the Deltarune, triangles. At one of his Snowdin puzzles, there are three types of symbols we can use: a circle, an X, and a triangle. But the latter doesn't have much use. We could say that it was left there for filler, but why use a triangle specifically? And why this color? It's just as if the triangle was left here in between the red circle and the X. But the triangle could be interpreted as the fourth letter of the Greek alphabet, a delta. A green delta. And we know that Gaster is creating Deltarune. And you're probably wondering, how does that make any sense? But consider this. The entire Snowdin area introduces us to Sans and Papyrus. To some extent, the color language of these two is also introduced here, but suddenly, in one of Papyrus' puzzles, there is a green symbol. And this is not a coincidence, something's missing between the two skeletons. Okay, but for now we're basing all of this in only colors, but it has a point. This color trio in both games have some meaning behind it: red, green, and blue. The heroes of the prophecy are a shade of red, so magenta, green, and blue. And guess what? The Darkner takes the in-between and lower position of the Deltarune. But wait, there is something else that is also red, green, and blue. In the mic room, Tenno helpers are also in this order: pinkish, green, and blueberryish blue. What I'm trying to get across here is that color green has two meanings. It's the color of freedom in Deltarune, and also the color to indicate something that's lost, something hidden, just as the green Pippins is making too many questions, wondering what's the real secret behind Mike. Those two are contradictory meanings when we think about it, but nevertheless, there they are. The prize room doors follow that same order: red, green, and blue. And do you know what else is green on TV World? The Egg Room, Man Country, where the man behind the tree hides, in a place between the couch cushions that is usually forgotten and only remembered when we're looking for something. And speaking of lost individuals, between the red and the blue doors, there is a toy capsule machine, and when we enter exactly 1225 points, the shelter password, we get to a room with Lost Girl playing on the background. Lost Girl can be found in several leitmotifs related to the Holiday family, like Noel's theme, and in Rise Up Your Bed, which is very likely to be a song that Chris remembered from somewhere. Also, the name is pretty self-explanatory: Lost Girl. The lost girl behind the green door between red and blue. And remember, TV World was created using Chris's memories, and these lost places could be interpreted as suppressed memories. And not only that, at the beginning of Chapter 1, when we check the crayon box at Chris's house, there is also a missing color, a green color, something that was lost. And nope, this is not a homestuck reference. And as a side note, since this room follows the same order as the mics, and the real mic is hidden and lost, things that Gaster loves to be, if we convert Mike's name to wingdings, we get 4 symbols: a bomb, a hand, a poker face, and a pointing hand, which can be interpreted as Chris losing a hand by an explosion and Mike or friend being involved in some way. But if the mics think the real Mike is a cat, friend is a cat, and the cats are related to the Tail of Hell, this could also be a suppressed memory. It doesn't have to mean that he's going to lose a hand, but that something happened to his hand, since we know friend is something Chris is trying to forget, since the day Des disappeared. And speaking of suppressed memories, pink and yellow, the color of Spamton's glasses and the colors of friend's eyes. Obviously, these colors bring back bad memories for Chris. They're related to something that happened in the past, and take this into consideration. Tenno met Spamton when Noel took the borrowed laptop from the library to the Dreamers' house. That's how Spamton knows about Chris. Not only that, nothing Spamton does is his creation. His outfit is Tenno's, his theme also has parts of Tenno's. He also has some of Mettaton's theme, since, well, that's where he got the Neo suit. He's just a faulty ad, spam, a copycat. But where did he get the idea of the pink and yellow glasses? From Chris's mind, of course, from suppressed memories. And from the teasers of Chapter 5, there is another thing we know will be pink and yellow: the field of pink and gold from Asgore's Dark World. But this video is not about this infernal duochromatic entity. Let's go back to the color palette. Green. Free. Freedom. The air crackles green with freedom. The menus we initially interact in the game are green. The save file menu is a digital green interface. A digital green interface the Another Him gave us to create the vessel. Green is not only the color of freedom, here it's portrayed as a connection from beyond, a connection to interact with this world, a boundary between the cage and its freedom. an indicator that something is in front of you, preventing you from moving, something like strings. The strings of heaven. A puppet trapped in a hellish deal, being pulled by heavenly green strings related to the another him creating this Deltarune. But there's more to the Deltarune, right? There was an angel from heaven. Same heaven Spamton speaks of. But wait a moment. The angel. The prophecy. Gerson in Undertale tells us about the prophecy of the Deltarune, and during the genocide route, is one of the few NPCs spared since there was no point in fighting Frisk. He was free to make that decision. While in Deltarune, Gerson was the writer of Lord of the Hammers in Hometown. Contrary to what the Knight wanted, Gerson could not be manipulated by the Shadow Crystal in the Dark World, as he was completely free. He was the memory of a Lightner without much regrets. And back on Undertale, that being the prophecy speaks of is Asriel. And at the end of the pacifist route, what colors does Asriel wear? And it's not like there are many characters in Undertale with green in their color palette. During the anniversary stream, the character we assume or believe is Zuzi is looking away in the classroom and she's using a glove to hide her identity, and the glove is green. Green is being used to hide someone, to pretend she's not there. In fact, except for one or two NPCs and Flowey, who is a plant, there aren't many green characters, only Asriel, the angel of the Deltarune prophecy. And guess what? He was also forgotten. His memory remains in the underground just like Gerson's. His son still remembers him just as Frisk remembers Asriel. But wait, there is another parallel with Asriel. If he is an angel, the angel of death, but an angel nonetheless, what is Ralsei? His color palette could be described as an inversion of Asriel's. When we first met him, he is the Prince of Darkness, and Asriel is the Angel of Heaven. A white goat with green clothing, a black goat with green clothing. One forgotten, vanished into myth, remembered only by a bunch, and the other is set aside and below the arrangement of the Deltarune. But while one eventually found his freedom, the other still struggles for his freedom, fighting against what the prophecy says. Ralsei is not entirely free yet. He's trapped in a dark world, waiting for a prophecy to give him his purpose, helping the Lightners to bring balance to both worlds. Wait. Worlds. If we go to Toby Fox's Twitter, one of his first ever tweets is very cryptic. At the edge of the shadow, where reality and dreams meet. Also, in case you didn't know, Toby Fox made a huge contribution to Homestuck. Some of the comics' most iconic music themes were composed by him, in addition to an unused song called Penumbra Phantasm. When he was asked what happened to that song, he simply replied, "At Shadow's edge, shatter the twilight reverie." Now, without going much into detail about what happens in Homestuck, breaking the barrier between dreams and the waking world was vital for some characters to gain more power. Megalovania is also used in Homestuck as the theme used when a group of protagonists do everything possible to stop a great evil, only to fail at the end. Megalovania is used in a similar manner in Undertale. Megalovania is not Sansa's theme or Karavas' theme. It's the theme of the protagonist of their own story, trying to stop a villain, only to fail in the end. Perhaps the themes of Penumbra Phantasm can be translated to Deltarune too. A penumbra is a partial shadow. In astronomy, it's the half-shadow cast when a celestial body obstructs the light from a star. Phantasm refers to something imaginary, a figment of imagination. In other words, an imaginary boundary between dreams and reality, between the dark world and the light world, as the imaginary boundary, shattered. But wait, boundary, imaginary, non-existent. Just as green represents the imaginary and liminal in Deltarune, like the green of the Dark Prince, like the green of the Angel of Prophecy, the green trapped in between? Let's return to the prophecy. 3 heroes appear at the world's edge and vanish, the angels of heaven. But wait, what is this edge? The edge of shadows. A shadow, a dark place, like a penumbra? And where could that edge between dark and darker could be found? Maybe in the dark fountains. Is the color of this penumbra also green? But there's another boundary I forgot to mention. In the cyberworld, Noelle mentions that Des wanted to take her to a place like this, with bright lights. Lights. This room has a wallpaper of an aurora borealis, and in Tenant's minigame, when we try to get the shadow mantle, it tells us to go to the northern lights, the aurora borealis. Why was she so interested in seeing the aurora? Did she wanted to see the edge of the world? But do you guys wanna know something very funny about the northern lights? The northern lights crackle. It's just as if they were crackling with freedom. Maybe Des was able to step off the edge and got lost. But do you know what other edge is green? The soul. It also has green boundaries. But what other enemy in the game has the ability to visually break the cage, even if only for a few seconds? See what I'm talking about? The light at the edge of the shadows is green. The digital interface that Gaster gives us is green. The puppet strings from heaven, all of them are green. But okay, enough of that. At the Penumbra Phantasm, the edge of shadows, Shatter the Twilight Reverie. Shatter the Twilight. Twilight. Twin light. Double. The twilight is usually composed of two shades of color. A pink sky with a fading yellow sun. Same colors as the field of pink and yellow. Same colors as Spamton's glasses. Characters who, as we know, fail or are falling by the shadow crystal. And in the latter's case, he prayed for heaven to set him free. That's why we must break that spell, that infernal machination, shatter the twilight reverie, to vanish the angels of heaven. Anyways, with all these points laid out, I hope I've convinced you that WD Gaster is indeed green, and that this color is much more important than it appears at first glance. But I think there's something else that's also green. In Homestuck, there's an alien species called Cherubs. Cherub is a type of angel, and green is also related to the cherub. So, does that mean that... Oh. But anyways, that might be it for today. I really hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and if that's the case, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. That really helps me and the channel, and let me know in the comments down below what do you guys think. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.